G'day, freedom lovers. Wow, what a way to get started. Sorry, a couple of minutes late. It's amazing how many people call you right when you're about to go live. It's going to be a very quick run through of a lot of things. There's just so much going on in the world today, boys and girls. It is astounding. But while we're waiting for people to jump into the room here, let's do the old check out the link tree, find the links so you can find us if things go down, if one page isn't working, you can jump onto that. That's in the description, just like most things you're going to need to have a look at today are in the description. So, I did have to walk someone through how to find the description the other day. If people are having trouble, please do feel free to drop me a line and I will get back to you as soon as I have a moment to scratch myself. So, of course, we have the Indigenous GoFundMe video that we're working on. Just need the cash to be able to. Actually, that looks a bit there. Oh, there we go. All right. Don't forget to be a Patreon, of course. Jeannie Lee, Jennifer, Gaza, Mark, Carla, Karina, and Ruben are my awesome Patreons. Big thanks to Fiona who helped out with our guest last on Friday. That wouldn't have come to pass if it wasn't Fiona reaching out to us and making that happen, which was really awesome. Really enjoyed that chat. 3 hours if you've got the time, but I think it's definitely worth looking at it if you haven't had a chance yet. You can always drop me a line at the North Queensland NQ Freedom Network at protonmail.com if you have anything you'd like to bring to us. I've been smashed this week. I haven't been able to get to everybody's stuff, unfortunately. I've tried to get to as much stuff as I can, and I had to prioritize by this is short, this is sweet, let's get it done. Big thanks to Shane and Jake's Soy as well for making donations. And of course, our Indigenous community who passed a hat round to help out with their very own documentary. So that's really cool that people are chipping in any way they can to help out, because this is a huge amount of work for me. Like I made it 1 o'clock today just simply because I'm running out of time. And here I am right down to the wire, still looking for things to add into the stream as I go. There's just so much happening in the world today. It's so hard to sort of just go, I'm just going to do one show and suss this. I really feel like I need to do maybe at least one a day. But the way things are going and the shitstorm of things that the lunatics are throwing at us left, right, and center, I feel like we almost might need 2 or 3 a day. I think we at Cafe Locked-Out are going to have to try and find some way to make this economically sustainable so that we can really cover all the stuff that's happening. It's like, we do our best, and we're all so run off our feet 9 times out of 10 that we don't even get much of a chance to communicate amongst ourselves, which is a bit sad. I definitely like to sit down and have a chat with everybody a little bit more often than we do. But you know what? We still make it work. We still make it work for all you guys. It's all happening. We're still getting there. Let's open that up and load those in. So, of course, I've got my Make Elbow Go Away hat on, and I'm going to continue to wear it until he does go away. Of course, I'm sure there's a whole lot of people out there who just think it's, this is the beautiful thing about MAGA. You can make it mean anything, making anything go away, for instance. I mean, I just made that up right then and there. That's how easy it is to take an acronym and fuck with it. For instance, once upon a time, I used to work for AMP, and, one of my early songs I wrote in a band, Convicted Souls, was called Assholes Manipulating People, because that's how much I enjoyed working there. I'm sure you guys can all come up with wonderful, fun things to do with your employment as well if you're having a wonderful time. So, speaking of reasons to make Elbow go away, there he is, kissing ass to minorities again. Who gives a shit about Australia Day? But we'll kiss up to every minority as we go. Thanks, Elbow. And of course, who can forget the rest of his useless team members? Penny Wong's Hamas appeasement speech, as it should forever be known, may stand as Australia's greatest diplomatic disgrace. Yes, let's keep throwing money at terrorist groups. Well done, you fucking idiot. So this will be me getting executed in 2030 for being straight and telling everybody that's what I am, and I'm fucking proud of it. Fuck you. This was a good one back from Easter. It's an old one I've been holding on for a little while. That is the cue to get your electric vehicle charged on Easter. Geez, I wish I was a part of this cool crowd, don't you? Oh, there's a couple of comments. G'day, Russell. How you going, mate? Woohoo, FB let me watch today. That's good. I'm glad they did. We've got a few options going for Facebook at the moment. You know, we've got the North Queensland Freedom Network. We've got the Cafe Locked Out backup and Michael Gray Griffiths interviews. You know, Michael's helped me get a few more pages going during the week. We're going eventually working out more and more ways to reach the people, you know, especially as we are constantly under assault for telling the truth. Michael Parker, Fremantle Port Authority, who was going to trespass all needle-free off the port, died at his desk. Oh, wow. That's not good. We need a bit of an article there. G'day, Pam. How you going? Good to see everybody's popping in now. Let's keep the memes going. I do have a time limit today, so 3 o'clock is my deadline. I seen this one and I'm like, I couldn't agree more, you know, especially as a father of a young daughter. I do not want these weirdos in the bathroom with her. You know, I kind of feel like it need to be, you know, we need to relax our gun laws a little bit so I can be armed and dangerous should one of these weirdos walk into the wrong bathroom. COVID-19 inquiry. Federal Police Union wants National Guard to ease the burden on officers in next pandemic. Right. So standing up a National Guard made up of civilians, so no training required, but with the powers to enforce health restrictions, really, because nobody really had the power to enforce health restrictions the last time, should be considered to ease the workload on police during the next pandemic, a major union has recommended. I recommend it whenever I come across these kinds of people who feel they, you know, want to burden themselves upon you. I'm sorry, are you aware of the fact that practicing medicine without a license is unlawful? Anyway, NDIS costs could blow out to 125 billion a year. The annual bill for the National Disability Insurance Scheme is projected to blow out to more than 125 billion a year by 2034 amid warnings the number of participants could more than double. As economic strife hits people, of course, they're going to suddenly find themselves disabled so that they can get help. And another wonderful burden and reason for why we need to make good old elbow go away, really. But we will have more on this later, and you will be shocked at what I found this week regarding the NDIS. I know I was. The colleagues question Albanese's ability. Really? Only now? Fuck me. They're a bit slow at the Labor Party, that's for sure. Too busy being communist terrorists, I'd imagine. I don't really have the time to try and blow that up and read it. It was a last minute find, actually. You know, if I'm going to wear the hat, I've got to have something to talk about. I mean, he does give you a lot, but it's been a bloody busy week for me. And I've got to get to bed early again because I've got a bloody early start again. Anyway. Here's a look into the future, according to Greta Thunberg and all the rest of the climate tards at the Labor Party, the Greens, and any other left-wing moron who has absolute no comprehension of how the world really works. This is what you want. Although I think they're pretty well fed. Like looking at what's on the table there, I think we could only be so lucky because I'm pretty sure that food is possibly not carbon neutral either. Let's get some, serves them right. Electric cars, that's right. And we've got more on that coming too. Hello, exactly. Thank you. Debware, g'day, Debware. How you going? Yeah, Maga, make elbow go away. Love it. I'm glad you enjoy it. That's that's the beautiful thing about these acronyms. You know, you can make them mean anything. Ask, you shall receive. Okay, cool. I unfortunately can't select that from this end. If you could email that to NQ Freedom Network, thank you very much for doing so. That email address, it's in the link. If you can email that to me, I'll have a quick look in a couple of minutes and I'll see if I can add it into the show. But thank you for giving it a crack. It's unfortunate that I just can't access it from this point here in the studio, for lack of a better word. All right, and this was one of my favorite ones, you know, because we were all subjected to MASH, you know, every year. In the new non-ratings season was on because MASH was on TV. And of course, there was that guy walking around in a dress. And as a child, I'm like, why is that man wearing a dress? Good question. He's trying to prove that he's nuts. That's pretty much what I was told. And this is exactly it. That's the premise of the story. He dressed as a woman to prove he was mentally ill. Just want that to sink in. I didn't make this up. I didn't write the show. I didn't make the meme. I just found it and thought, you know what? That's exactly what I was told as a kid, because that's what it was. Can't deny these things. Oh, by the way, I decided to wear the t-shirt, just in honor of giving myself the fail of an option for fail of the week. So I hope you've got your pen and paper ready, because I'm going to plow through this and possibly miss stuff today, just because there's so much going on. Yeah, if you have sent me stuff and I haven't brought it up, it just didn't make the cut, or B, I just ran out of time. I made the show at 1 o'clock in an effort to try and get through everything that needed to get through, and it just didn't happen, unfortunately. So g'day, people of the power. G'day, Alex. How you going? Joy, Alex, one of those ways. I'm pretty sure I know who you are. Anyway, let's have a look at some of these other things. So all right, I've still got to load some videos in, so while we do that, we might have a look. Actually, come back to this. Presenting the share screen option. So, mate, Darren, as usual, he's always a busy man doing stuff. In the description, you will find a link to this video. It is unfortunately way too long for me to go through. It's an hour and 13 minutes and 57 seconds. Go have a look. I actually haven't had a look at it myself, but look, if Darren sends it to me, there's a good chance there's a good reason for it. So I'm just going to give him a quick plug on that one, simply because it's Darren. He does great work, and he's a good friend of mine, always there to lend a hand when I need it. And we're hopefully going to be getting him on the show again soon to talk about a great many things, but mostly the Know Your Rights. So that covers up the writing, doesn't it? Know Your Rights coming to Townsville. They've got a bunch of seminars going on in most of the major cities, as I understand. Instead of Brisbane, they're going to Gold Coast, though. Why wouldn't you? I think Gold Coast is better from what I understand. I haven't been there. It's on my to-do list. Maybe one day somebody will invite me down for a seminar or something in Gold Coast, because it's about the only way I'm going to be able to get there, I think. So that's in the description. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the description today. Also, from Friday's show, we had a chat, and our senior military doctor friend there, who's, oh my God, I can't believe I've gone blank. I only just met him Friday, and anybody knows I'm shit with names. That's why I tattooed my own name on my arm. This guy here, you can see him there next to the copper. That's the video link that we talked about on Friday. That is in the description if you are struggling to find it. So go and have a look. All right. Also in the description, we've got some important petitions. If you think that these things work, hopefully they do. I think if enough people, here sign this petition, it does seem like, wow, how much effort am I really putting in? But hey, look, at least if you click the sign e-petition button and give it a crack, you got to be in it to win it, kind of like a lottery draw. Maybe if enough people jump in, we can actually get some shit done. But, the objection to the proposed amendments to the Education General Provisions and Other Legislation Amendment Bill 2024 for homeschooling. Of course, they're targeting homeschooling because so many people are pulling their kids out to get them away from radical gender theories, lunatic greenie ideologies, and other socialist constructs designed to destroy our once beautiful nation. If you're enjoying socialism so far, perhaps you just want to leave things alone. Personally, socialism sucks. And if you look around at how much poverty we've got, homelessness, the cost of living, all these things are due to the socialist manipulation of our society in the last few years, or actually a few decades, really. Anyway, we've got some more. Citizens Go also got Don't Wash White Access Deaths, another one you can jump in and have a go at if you wish. By all means, give it a crack, have a read. The link is in the description. Keep it moving along. Constitution Watch, if you're in Queensland and you're worried about the current land valuation, because I believe they're fucking with that. I've looked at mine. The lodge objection does need to be within 60 days, and they haven't fucked with mine in quite some time. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, and be ready, poised and ready to strike should they go to mess with the land valuation of my property. But there's a guide here. All these things are available as PDFs. So if you've never gone to Constitution Watch, Darren's wonderful site, you see this little icon here with a little folder and stuff. You click on that and look, you can download it. it automatically downloaded in this particular instance. I'll have to sort out where the hell that went later, but you should get the point. Anyway, you can open up the PDFs in the browser and have a read. It's a pretty good site the way this is set out, so you can actually save all the material there yourself. There's various other elements here, including the form required to do it. So yeah, very helpful for you. I don't know if he's got any other ones on there, but look, this website is so full of cool stuff. Like, I mean, look at all the categories we've got to go through. Yeah, I wish I had more time to actually go through all the stuff that Darren does. It's amazing stuff. Man, he's good at what he does. Anyway, disinformation from the Labor on nuclear energy costs. The Labor Albanese government is destroying proven low-cost coal power plants under the guise of retiring them and replacing this stable, secure, safe, and affordable power with land-grabbing solar and wind installations, which are proven now to be unreliable, environmentally damaging, and expensive. Anybody with half a brain knew that. Anybody who's been really looking at these things definitely knows that. It is nuts. Only a Labor government could be this fucking dumb. Or actually, the Greens are pretty stupid too, aren't they? Anyway, if Labor's ideology means that it won't consider new generation coal, which China and other countries are busy putting in place, then why doesn't it consider the nuclear option? Of course, we don't want to do that because, we need to do some other dodgy shit. Let me know if this. Well, actually, let's have a quick look. We've got a whole bunch of comments coming here. I'll catch up from here. Daza Gaza, what he was dead. Okay, Karen. I haven't seen hippie stuff before. I like that little picture you got there. That's pretty cool, hippie stuff. Come on, John, calling for nation strike. Will you strike too, Batty? I'll have to have a look at it. The word "como" tends to sort of put me off. I'm not a fan of communism. As far as I understand, Como John is a communist, so I will have to have a look into it. I did have someone sent something to me in regards. I just haven't had a chance to look at it, so I'm not saying yes or no at this particular instance. The other question is, can I afford to strike? The amount of work I have to do just to keep ends meet going under a Labor government, I don't know that I can afford to, is the other thing that I think of. Anyway, mum's land value went up. And for all the people, who depend on the deliveries we make every day, I don't know that it's a fair decision. G'day, Susan. Always good to see you. In the dark cold of 423, Struth. I love your dedication, Susan. You are a champion. Absolute champion. Same here in East Gippsland, Lace Entrance. Yeah, spot on. Thank you. It's always good to know that people agree with me. So it's good to have a pat on the back and he's an ex-commo. He's a good man. Okay, so he was a communist, but come to his senses. That's good to know. All right, I'll have a look into it a little bit further when I get a chance, if I get a chance. So let's keep moving along. I'll just put a star there so I know where we got up to. So let me know if this video comes through, actually. I can't hear shit. Can you? Something's not right with his browser lately. Disinformation from Labor. Actually, I think I downloaded that so that I wouldn't have to worry about that. Let's have a look. All right. Give me a second. No, it's not the button I wanted. That's the button I wanted. I was going to do some tricky stuff first. Let's download it so that we can watch it, because it'll work this way. And Bob's your auntie, because it's a weird world. Opening, loading. Let's allow the good people to make dicks of themselves. So I come back to that. So that's the video we were going for. We're going to stand back. Why is Labor being dishonest about this? Are the solar schemes and subsidies so important to their mates that they would sell out the regular working Australian family for their mates at the WEF? What happened to the Party of the Workers? Well, they're a socialist party of the workers, and anybody with a history book will go and have a look at what happened in Russia with the socialist workers' parties, and they will also go and have a look at Nazi Germany, who was also a socialist workers' party. I don't think I can emphasize that point enough. I think it's very important that people really get their head around these sorts of things. So let's have a look at this video.
Thank you, President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Climate Change and Energy, Senator McAllister. The government has ruled out adding nuclear electricity to our energy mix, based on the government's calculations showing a higher cost of nuclear energy as against wind and solar. Minister, can you please inform the Senate of the levelised cost of generation of wind, solar and nuclear that informed the government's position?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. And I'll just remind you, questions need to go to ministers, not assistant ministers. So I believe the responsible minister. I thought you said Senator McAllister. Yes, so I'm directing the question to Minister Gallagher. Thank you, Minister Gallagher.
Damn. Anyway, thank you, Senator. Thank you, President. Thanks. Thank you for the question. The advice the government has, and I think this is understood by everyone who's been following the energy discussion, is that nuclear energy is very slow to build. It's the most expensive form of new electricity generation, cannot firm renewables, which are the cheapest, fastest and cleanest form of new electricity generation. The analysis that has been done showed that there was a significant cost burden. So it is about cost. Our position, we are looking for the cheapest form of energy generation, which is renewables, which includes wind and solar. And Australia obviously has a very significant comparative advantage when it comes to that form of energy, with renewables, with our sunlight hitting more sunlight hitting our landmass than any other country. We also don't have a workforce to support that renewable energy, that nuclear energy generation. So the time it would be involved, it would be decades away before anything became operational, and would do nothing to reduce the energy costs for Australian households and business in the meantime. So our position, and I think there is a lot of support for that position, is that this transition to renewable energy is the quickest and cheapest path as we shift away from fossil fuel generation. That is the path that the government was clear about before the election. That is the path that we're implementing under Minister Bowen and Mr McAllister's leadership, leading this for the government, and we will continue on that path, and we will leave the nuclear energy debate for those opposite to convince people of.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Roberts, first supplementary.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Minister. Minister, is the figure for nuclear based on real-world data from the 440 nuclear power stations around the world, or even from the last 10 stations completed in the last few years? And if not, on what is it based?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. Minister Gallagher.
Look, I understand, and I'll see if there's anything I can provide, but the government analysis that looked at the cost of nuclear energy was looking at how to replace the retiring coal-fired power station fleet, and that figure resulted in about a $25,000 cost impost on each Australian taxpayer, based off 15.1 million taxpayers. So, according to many of the experts in the energy field, it's more expensive, it's going to take decades to build, and in the meantime will do nothing to reduce the power costs on households, which are clearly going to benefit from the shift to renewable energy generation and technology, and that is the path the government will continue on, because we're focused on cost of living and a sensible and orderly transition away from fossil fuels and to new forms of energy.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Roberts, second supplementary.
Thank you, President. The government is using a figure for the cost of modular nuclear power that's not based on any real-world data. Rather, it's mere speculation about a type of generation that doesn't exist.
Senator Roberts, please resume your seat. Order on my right. Order. Senator McKim. Senator McKim. Senator Roberts has the right to ask his question in silence. and ask senators to respect that right. Senator Roberts.
The government's data is based on speculation about a type of generation that does not exist and completely misrepresents the cost of nuclear power. The government is spreading misinformation again. Minister, why didn't the government use the real-world data from 57 conventional nuclear power stations currently under construction around the world, and why is the government not being honest about nuclear?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. And Minister Gallagher.
Well, I don't accept the question that Senator Roberts just put to me. We are providing information to the community, and that information is that renewables remain the lowest cost new build generation technology. That is clearly a fact. Now, we have also done some analysis, and I think you'll find it hard to find any expert that says nuclear isn't expensive or isn't going to take too long to build, including how you generate a workforce around this and the time it will take to do that. Based on the work that we need to happen now. We can't delay this for decades. The transition was already delayed for a decade under those opposite with 22 failed energy policies. In 18 months, we're getting on with it, and we are in that transition, and we will focus on renewables as the lowest cost form of energy generation that will help households with those cost of living pressures.
All righty then. Wow. That was a stunning display, if anything, and it really just shows just how ridiculously childish Parliament's become. But let's analyze some of this crap. Here's a whole bunch of stuff that I got from a previous video that I'd done. I haven't looked at this stuff in about a year and a half or something to that effect. But if you want to go back and have a look at my original wind farms video, I highly recommend it. As you can see, it's a stunning picture of the devastation to nature required for wind farms. I believe that is the footprint for just one of these eyesores, and you've got to think of how many of them are required to generate enough power to, you know, keep your bicycle running. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the facts from a secondary video. I think it was one of the Frog Hospital ones, Frog and Environment. I've got it labeled as here. Where we chatted with Deborah. Frog Safe and Wind Farms, that one was called. If you go back through the stuff, let me just bring up that picture so you can see it as well. Where is it? There it is. I open that one up. So for more information of these sorts of things, the power prices to surge 18% as the energy market turmoil flows through households. You know, it's because of, you know, they're getting rid of fast-tracking the removal of coal-fired power plants. She just lied straight out. This video goes into it a lot more. You know, Deborah from the Frog Hospitals, you know, put us onto a few good people over the environmental issues, because it's good to know that, you know, there are environmentalists out there that actually care about the environment and not trying to push more unreliables, as I like to call them. So they'll start here. So mystery solved. Unreliable wind and solar primary reason for rocketing power prices. There you go. Say no more. Feel free to come back and have a look. And the links to these things are written there. Unfortunately, you're going to have to go through and type them in, because this stuff, I got this ages ago. This is old news. You know, wind power. For example, between October 2006 and February 2007, there were 17 days when the output from Britain's 1,632 windmills was less than 10% of their capacity. During that period, there were 5 days when output was less than 5% and 1 day when it was only 2%. So yeah, these things are fucking really great ideas. We should definitely have more of them, in my opinion. So this is a conclusion from, I think it was a 1,000-page report, you know, and there's the link so you can find yourself a copy of the PDF as well. In conclusion, this report suggests that replacing the existing fossil fuel-powered oil, gas, and coal using renewable technologies such as solar panels or wind turbines will not be possible for the entire global human population. There is simply not enough time nor resources, which is the very important part. There's not enough actual resources to create this shit. You're going to have to strip mine the friggin' earth to do this by the current target set by the world's most influential unelected bureaucrats. I'm just going to throw that in there, but they're talking influential nations. What may be required, therefore, is a significant reduction of societal demand for all resources of all kinds. Now, there's the thing. That's what they're really aiming at. You know, this is why we need population reduction. This is why we need to make things so expensive that you can't afford it. This is why we need 15-minute cities. You won't need a car. You'll be able to walk everywhere you need to go. So this is all part of the plan. You can see how this is all unfolding. This implies a very different social contract and a radically different system of governance to what is in place today. Inevitably, this leads to the conclusion that the existing renewable energy sectors and the EV technology systems are merely stepping stones to something else rather than the final solution. And we know how bad that terminology goes down in history. Again, it's that Socialist Workers' Party word. It is recommended that some thought be given to this and what that something else might be. Very important conclusion to a 1,000-page document. Here's a few more bits and pieces from it. You know, electrical power generated from solar and wind sources are highly intermittent in supply volumes, both across 24-hour cycles and seasonal context. So if you didn't need to know, you know, pumped storage attachment to hydroelectric power generation systems accounted for 98% of existing power store capacities. Feel free to come back and pause and have a good read of this stuff if you wish. I'm just kind of going to shoot through it because I just haven't got a lot of time, and this is just a little segue I had straight up in my head. You know, I think we had a look at that bit, didn't we? Yep, we did that one. That one's come up twice. Is it the same one? Yeah, it is too. I just had two different names for it. Anyway, I got the conclusion. It's intermittent. I've doubled up here. This is a good one. The massive lithium-ion batteries required to power 1.39 billion EVs proposed in the scenario F would be 282.6 million tons. Preliminary calculations show the global reserve, let alone global production, may not be enough to resource the quantity of batteries required. In theory, there are enough global resources of nickel and lithium if they were exclusively used just to produce lithium-ion batteries. So heaven forbid you want to use that shit for anything else. To make just one battery for each vehicle in the global transport fleet, including Class 8 HCV trucks, it would require 48.2% of 2018 global nickel reserves and 43.8 of global lithium reserves. There is also not enough cobalt in current reserves to meet this demand, and more will need to be discovered. So we haven't even, just based on what we have, what we can mine, and where we know how to mine it, we still need to find more mines. Is there going to be any part of Earth left that hasn't been turned into some kind of open cut mine for this friggin' madness? You know, once upon a time, being a greedy meant that you stood against mining. Now they want to strip mine the entire fucking planet. This is nuts. Each of the 1.39 billion lithium-ion batteries could only have a useful work life of 8 to 10 years. So 8 to 10 years after the manufacturing and new replacement of batteries will be required. So not only do we not have enough to make everything we require now, once we get to the end of life of these things, every one of these EV vehicles is stuffed. There'll be nothing. It's stupid. Annual power production. This is a good one. You know, look at the nuclear power production on the column on the left here in the yellow. You know, annual power production of a single average plant in 2018. Fuck all for solar. Bugger all bio waste. Bugger all solar thermal. Bugger all wind. Nuclear has the ability to produce the power. You also got to think of the footprint. So, you know, this is to the footprint, the nuclear will generate the most. It is a hell of a lot cleaner than coal, and coal's the next best. Number of average power plants using 2008 to deliver 1,000. Yeah, so these are interesting bits of data you want to have a look at. Here's some more data. Number of average sized power plants to annually deliver the same energy content as the annual global demand. So again, this shows you, you know, how many power plants you're going to require to get the amount of power required. So you think about the footprint of one of them solar farms, and I don't know if you've ever gone out and seen one. We've got, of course, they're throwing them up here in the rural areas where the city folk don't have to see how huge amount of land is required for this shit. But man, the nuclear has a tiny footprint. It's that simple. Nuclear is definitely the way to go, you know. So number of power plants needed, you know. I think that's the same as the other one before. So you get the idea. We're going to need a shitload of power. You know, you can get 78 power plants versus 30,266 for solar. You know, like it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, people. All right. So now that we've just proved how stupid the Labor Party is yet again, and it didn't require much effort on my part, I thought, I managed to conjure that up while he was talking. Other interesting things. The senator's coming to Townsville. I might have to hit him up, see if he'll have a quick bit of a yarn with us again. I'll drop him a line. He was happy to do it last time, so I reckon he will do it again. Anyone got any questions they'd like to throw at us? Again, email me. You can also, in the description, there's a bit of a save the date thing for other regions as well, because it's not just Townsville he's coming to, but of course this is where I live, so I'm going to talk about it. The Freedom Truck, yes, we had a chat on Friday about that. This is the page. The link is in the description if you want to help them out. That's another option for you. We are 36 minutes and 34 more comments have come through. Yeah, they're all the upcoming events. So, if you're interested in supporting the old One Nation, I reckon they do a relatively good job. So before we move on to Thomas Mayo having a cry and he's shedding those giant communist tears, let's have a look here. So Labor to blame for you sucking at life. Good to know. It's this nobby again. Disco Dead Pigeon, dumbass of the year. Wow. I'm glad you understand the basic principles now, mate. It's important that you come to these things once in a while and learn. It looks like you've run away again. Actually, that reminds me. I've got to say goodbye to YouTube because thank you, Disco Dickhead Pigeon, for being a complete knob and reminding me that, if you're watching this on